Okay, my name is Goddie Ofose. I'm a journalist, a publisher, public affairs analyst, a brand management consultant. What does the content of Mr. President's tweet say? He didn't quite say something about presidential at all. The country is already in dire straits and there is tension everywhere in the land. And for the leader, the number one person in the country, there are some languages you don't use, especially when you are directing it at some ethnic or a particular ethnic group who had suffered great loss in a war that didn't leave anyone, that was like an ill wind that blows nobody any good. So it wasn't very good. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't an appeal. It was not, but again, it was sheer affirmation to what the Mr. President intent is. When you are reminding a set of people about the war, that they suffer great loss, and telling them that the people who are agitating for this one now are too young to understand what happened from 1967 to 1970, you are indirectly telling them that you wouldn't mind doing that again. So it wasn't an appeal. It wasn't a threat, it was a statement of intent. That's the way I feel it was. So at the end of the day, he has left the country in a very bad situation. I think it was improper, it wasn't right, it wasn't presidential. Mr. President could have come to say, oh, nobody is above mistake, nobody is above error. As long as you are a human being, you are bound to err. And there's this saying that goes that to err is human, to forgive is divine. Everybody will be happy. And also, Mr. President's antecedent has not been very welcoming. In recent past, he has also, for those who are supposed to have weighed in and used the state functionaries, the state powers to weigh in and stop the banditry in the country, was appealing to them. It was reported. So when I'm not supporting the Southeast for what they are doing to their land, it is improper for you to do that. But for a president who participated in that war fully, to remind them of that war, and not just remind them and say that because the Southeast understand the language of war, that's what you mean by saying that you're going to treat them in a language they understand. It's uncalled for. It's unfair. Okay, talking about how the content of the tweet should have been, be worded or reworded or reconstruct or paraphrased. I think it is appropriate to say I am not working for the president. President has people that are working in that department, and they are being paid for it, and they should be professional, and should know the tweets or the statement that could cause Mr. President's embarrassment, both within and without the country. So at this point, it could have been better if Mr. President says that the well-meaning people of the Southeast are not the one doing this, and calling on the traditional rulers, calling on the leaders of thought in all professions, calling on politicians from the Southeast extraction, especially those in the APC, to speak to these children who lack knowledge of what it is to destroy your land, to speak to them. It would have been more presidential. It would have been more appropriate than using war as a tool to remind them that I wouldn't mind coming back, because you said you will treat them with a language that they understand. So I feel that he added tension to the land. The country is heated up with divisive elements from the southwest, from the southeast, from the northeast, from the northwest, because even if they are not preaching secession, people, groups like Boko Haram, ISWAP, those who are involved in kidnapping, they are anti-progressive forces, and when they continue with the activity unabated, it will be interpreted to be calling for secession or calling for self-determination in the end. Mr. President has the opportunity, he has the platform to redeem himself in all of this. He has less than 2 years left in his tenure, knowing full well that by next year the entire country will be characterized, or the governance will be characterized with politics and the rest of it. It is about time he put his foot down as a man that was elected by the people to lead and lead people appropriately. And enough of press releases, enough of tweets that Mr. President did not initiate that comes from his aides, because these are the things that we continue to see. The former president of the United States of America, Trump, all his tweets were initiated from him. I mean, he typed it, he sent it, his aide does not have access to his phone. So if on the PUTUS, for the president of the United States of America, yes, the aide could handle that. And you could see that the tweets on the PUTUS is quite different from the tweet from Donald J. Trump. So if Mr. President wants to handle such a thing, I think we could actually avoid some of these things, because he's a man of few words. He talks less, doesn't talk too much, and he takes action. He should be a man of few words and take proper actions. And enough of press releases. This is a government that we have seen more press releases than the leader talking to these people.